Welcome back to the OpenJazz project. Today we're going to talk about the 251 progression. And you may have come across this progression many times. It's certainly the most commonly found progression in jazz music, and it's very common in other genres of music as well. For a major key, like C major, of course, our 2 chord, if you remember, it's going to be a minor 7. So we'll have our D minor 7 here, then moving on to the dominant 7, and then we resolve it to our tonic, which is C major 7. If you want to play a 251 progression the way I just did, which is in root position for all the chords, D, G, and then C, you'll notice that it's not very pleasant sounding. And that's because all the notes in the chords jump all over the place. We go up and then we go down again. What we can do is we can apply the technique of voice leading, and voice leading simply means we see the relationship between the notes of 2 adjacent chords. And what would that be in our case? Let's see. We have D minor 7, and then our G chord. If you pay attention, you'll notice that the D and the F here, they are the same. They're common tones because they're both in the D minor 7 and in the G7 chord. In the D minor 7, this is the root and this is the third, and the G7 chord, this is the fifth and this is the seventh. So if we start in D root position and we want to move to the G, we can keep these two the same. And instead of having the G in root position, these other 2 notes, we can simply add them on top. And this would be a second inversion for the G7, starting on the root, starting on the third, and on the fifth, second inversion. So let's do that again. We start root position for D minor 7, and then we drop these 2 notes down a step to get our G7. And we can apply the same exact logic for C. Now we keep these 2 notes the same because they're the 5th and the 7th of C, and we're gonna drop the D and the F down to the C and D. What we have achieved is a flow in the voices that's more natural. Starting with D, the first 2 voices move, and then the last 2 voices move. What I want you to do is practice this in both your left and right hands. So in the left it would be like this, and move it up in all 12 keys so you become familiar. Say we have the key of E flat. Now in E flat our 2 chord would be an F, our 5 chord would be a B flat dominant, and our 1 chord is of course the E flat major 7. With the same principles, we have our F minor 7, then we drop the first 2 notes down for our B. This is again an inversion of the B flat dominant, and then we drop the final 2 notes. So move this in all the keys to get familiar. And the second thing I want you to do once you become familiar with this motion is to experiment with inversions. Say we don't have to start with our 2 chord in a root position, we can choose an inversion like the second inversion. Now in this case we have second inversion for D, the 2 voices move down to give us root position for G, and then the top voices move down again to give us second inversion for C. You can do this for any inversion of any chord. Find a way to lead the voices smoothly, like, and we can do another inversion for F, so then our B would be here, and you want the voices to flow like that. And this is the concept of voice leading. So practice the 251 progression for the major key, all the major keys, and all the inversions, and you will be golden. That will be all for this video. Make sure to leave a comment if you have any questions or anything to add. practice what I showed you in all 12 keys, and see you in the next video.